My human rights report card is Jordan. That's the country that I'm going to be talking about. As you can see, Jordan's over here. On the left of Jordan is Israel. On the right of Jordan, Saudi Arabia. Above Jordan is Syria, and on the upper right-hand corner is Iraq. The grade that I gave Jordan is a D, and as you guys watch my human rights report card, you guys will find out why I gave it that grade. Um, I'm going to be talking about the facts and figures. As you can see, the comparative size of Jordan is compared to 3/4 the size of Pennsylvania, so that just gives you a visual of how small of a country Jordan really is. The population in Jordan is 8,185,384 people. That's a lot of people, especially in such a small country. And the growth rate currently is 0.83%, which is a bit bigger compared to the growth rate of the US, which is 0.7%. So comparing those two, the US is a much bigger country compared to Jordan, and Jordan having a higher population growth rate, and it's a smaller country, it just shows you how many problems they're already going to have because they have a limited amount of space. And going into that, we see the unemployment rate at 13%, which is really high. A lot of people don't have jobs, don't have the money to get homes because of this high percentage of unemployment rate. That just shows you its economic problems going on in Jordan and what Jordan needs to do to fix it. That's one of the reasons why I gave Jordan that grade, because of its unemployment rate. However, the inflation rate is at negative 0.9%, which is good for consumers, and that's why it's good for this country. If the inflation rate was higher, then there'd be more unemployment, and more businesses would shut down. Inflation means that the value of money is increasing. So right now, it's pretty good for this country. So here's the historical background. Following after World War One, the League of Nations gave Britain the power to rule all over, not all over, but much of the Middle East. Britain ruled from Transjordan to Palestine, around that area. However, in 1946, Jordan gained its independence and became the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. King Hussein was the ruler of Jordan. He was a longtime ruler. He ruled from 1953 to 1999, and he successfully navigated competing power pressures and from the major powers, the U.S., the USSR, the UK, various Arab states, including Israel and Palestine. He also signed a peace treaty with Israel. So that's just to give you a background. Next, I will be going to the human rights issues that are currently happening in Jordan. So, as you know, and as I've told you, above Jordan is Syria, and what's going on in Syria, it's just very problematic, that situation. But many refugees are looking in places to go, and Jordan hosts approximately 635,324 refugees from Syria, which amounts to about 10% of the population. Because Jordan's accepting many more refugees, it's good on their part. Morally, it's very good. It's great that they're accepting more people. However, that's a problem to their economic situation, and because of the employment rate, it's at 13%. And because the population is very big, they're just adding more of a bigger population, and that will just cause more problems overall, economically wise. The next is the women's rights issues. Jordan is very conservative and very traditional. Society takes a huge role and remains discriminatory towards women despite the 2010 amendment. Women are treated very differently, and they're supposed to act a certain way in society, and their rights are still being denied. For example, marriages between Muslim women and non-Muslims are still not recognized, or that women are denied the right to pass on their nationality to their husbands and children if their spouses are foreign-born spouses. So that's just an example of how the law denies the women's rights. Um, Freedom of speech and belief. Jordan has Jordan's law is very strict on the restrictions on freedom of speech and belief. They if anyone criminalizes no, if anyone speaks badly on behalf of the government officials or the king or Islam, then you will be criminalized and face penalties, which is jail. So that's to show that currently the human rights issues on freedom of speech and belief are negated towards the population. They're not able to speak on important issues happening in Jordan if it insults the government or the king or its institutions, all that. They don't really have that freedom of speech like we do in the US, and that's very important to have. So, um, and even here, it explains that the changes in the penal code could prevent from rapists getting away, strengthening rights of people with disabilities, consequences and penalties for those who commit rape. However, they still don't want to change the penal code, so that's what's going on. Next, I'm going to take you to the current news. Right here. So the Human Rights Watch is right now educating refugee children in Jordan. So this article just tells you about how Jordan is helping out with the refugee conflict and um, how they're helping educate these refugees. Next are the images, and here are images. Right here is where this prominent Jordanian writer was murdered because he spoke on behalf of insulting the religion Islam, and so people are protesting about that. Here are more pictures like the refugee crisis and how it actually looks. And here's a former member of the parliament that she was talking and addressing the absence and equality of women's rights. Here are the non-governmental organizations. One of them is Save the Children Foundation, helping children in Jordan, including refugee children and all sorts. So that's pretty much it. As you can tell, I gave the country a D because of its human rights issues and because it's still problematic, and Jordan is very conservative and needs to change its ways in order for its country to be better. Thank you.